this is the Digital Revolution. It's a digital survey type show. We're in the first section called Digital Archaeology, which looks at a selection of works from 1970s to the present day and historical trawl. So going around the corner, we have a section called We Create, which looks at maker culture, using open source frameworks such as the Arduino, Raspberry Pi, and games such as Minecraft. And then we'll move on to Creative Spaces.
Yeah, Creative Spaces looks at digital storytelling. So we have some commissioned works by Gravity and Inception, Hollywood Cinema, and then we move on to artists James Bridle, James George and Jonathan Minard, and it basically looks at how computing has changed the way that we tell stories today. We have a commissioned work by will.i.am, that's his first time working in the gallery. He's collaborating with the artist and designer Yuri Suzuki, and then we move into State of Play.
So State of Play looks at a series of camera-based works and how camera systems such as the Kinect, which is part of the Xbox, is used in artistic pieces. So we have a work by Daniel Rosen, Raphael Lexano-Hemmer, and a large installation called Treacherous Sanctuary by the artist Chris Milk.
So an extensive number of pieces of work that sign up the history of digital in our life and the future. How difficult was to pick these pieces?
I suppose it's obviously digital culture is really pervasive, but we've really led all our research through the practitioners, the artists, the designers, the filmmakers that are crossing over loads of boundaries. They all are part of a big community, and we wanted to go from the big blockbuster names to much more smaller boutique and independent people.
Yeah, so I mean we have a section later on called Indie Games, which looks at not so obvious games such as the large commercial blockbusters like Grand Theft Auto, but some of the smaller, more independent lone developers. So, and in Creative Spaces, so Kibwe Tavares, for instance, it's boutique pages.
What is this exhibition telling us about the digital revolution? It's called.
So I think this exhibition is really timely. There's been a couple of survey shows in the past, such even from 1968, Cybernetic Serendipity, we have V&A's Decode, but I think now we're at this intersection where we have things such as mobile phones. Everyone carries a digital computer in their pocket, and it's become such an everyday part of our lives. And in the section Digital Futures, we're looking at lots of wearable technologies as well.
Yeah, I think we're at an age now where people that can use digital technology in creative ways are sort of landscaping how we're going to experience culture and creativity in our society, and I think that's what Digital Revolution does. It really focuses on those creatives and shows us really what's possible and where everything's going.
Is this an exhibition that obviously speaks to the newest generations, and they are, you know, they were born with technology and they thrive with technology these days, not just artists, musicians and filmmakers. How about the older generations? What kind of impact would this be for them?
It's funny, I spoke to a guest about half an hour ago, and she was asking me about digital works and about digital filmmaking and why you would use analog or digital techniques, but I was trying to say to her that it's not the aesthetic, it doesn't have to be so obviously digital. I mean, we use digital processes now to actually mimic things which look and fool the eye, like an old Trompe l'oeil painting, for instance. So it's harking, back to those concepts.
Yeah, I agree. There's definitely resonances between sort of artistic practice that could have come hundreds of years ago. Also, we opened the show by with a sort of a more nostalgic take by looking at how sort of the formation of digital culture from video games, computer art, sound and music. So I think everyone that's maybe of an older generation will come in and recognise those things and maybe see how quickly digital technology has progressed and all the wonderful things that artists are making them do.
From the beginning, the first Super Mario Bros. To the very, codes, what can we learn from the trend that digital technology has been having in the past few years, and where are we going?
Yeah, I mean, in the digital future section, for instance, there's a lot of wearable technology. I think it's less about making anything obviously digital, and it's becoming so intrinsic to our lives. I mean, we don't even have cables for internet now. It's all wireless. We have cloud computing. It's just there. It's not. We don't have to particularly do anything. It's just all around us now. So I think a lot of the artists in the show are tapping into that and bringing it into our everyday lives.
Yeah, I definitely think digital technology is focusing on the body with wearable tech, but also in our environment is becoming, everything is online and everything's connected now. And so I think the future is really about negotiating that boundary between the real and virtual and sort of mixing the two.